We're going out to Bournemouth Island to shoot some ducks. I've got a rucksack full of decoys, I've got some water, some tissues, steel cartridges, got Dawn the dog, I've got my old favourite Maggie who's coming out of retirement just to show everyone she can still do it. I've got Owen Piper, who is one of the farmers who I shoot a lot of rabbits for, and you, which I'm really excited about. It's a lot deeper than you think it is, isn't it? Well, that's Dawn. Right, Finbar, there's two dogs here. Whose are they? Steve! You're going to have to call your dog or she's going to follow us all the way up to the Queen seat. Nathan, is that your thing running around?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it must be there, Finbar, because it's a corner.
Before we get set up with decoys and hides, Mark wants Owen to sit tight for the morning flight.
Well, it's not actually a morning flight, it's a tide flight. The tide's already pushing the birds off the mud. The problem with the teal is they're quite often below the height of the creek, so that's why I've got my head below the salting top height, if you see what I mean. Owen, coming down the creek. Sit down, a pair of you. Good job one of us can shoot. It's all right, it'll come out in the edit. It's not going anywhere, it's stone dead.
Silly question maybe, but how do you get them back?
David, we have thought of these things. They're all on a line, so you put a weight out here and then you run the string back. What you don't ever want to do is let them get as tangled as this, because then you look really unprofessional. What you do if you're a serious wildfowler is get the whole lot out before the season starts, specifically so you avoid this situation. I'm a baboon and I haven't done it. Where was your teal, Owen? Back in here? Go on, get on, get on. Come on, come on. Got you here. Good girl. Dad. Good girl. You could have got that earlier, couldn't you? But like me, you've just got too fat, haven't you? Another widgeon?
It is a magical place out here with docks and power stations surrounding us. There's a calmness, however that's because the weather is being kind, for now.
I just won't see you like that. You go and we just hang some stuff across the front. The bigger duck, the widgeon and the mallard and the pintail will almost certainly follow the creeks. They don't like going over the mud.
In the hide, the Mossberg pump action from York guns and the dogs are pretending they're not here. The Mossberg is still Mark's tool of choice and is performing well, despite abuse. The hounds are vital on a day like today, especially when Owen shoots like this.
Oh, that really was a good right and left. Go on, dogs.
And as Mark suggests, if you want an example of steel being a capable substitute for lead over water, there you go.
There's a chap who comes out here, who I don't think's been on the Fieldsports Channel. It might have been some time ago. And when the ban came in, he started using steel, and he now uses steel for everything. And he you know, kills very long birds very, very cleanly. So people that say steel isn't as good, I just don't believe them. I think it's harder to get. I think it makes it harder if you're not a very good shot. But I think if you're a decent shot, steel doesn't make any difference at all. It doesn't bode very well for me, does it? You're right there, little dog, so you're upset that you're in a little nest. You don't want to be in a little nest, do you? Yes, but the problem is you move her head around, don't you? Sausage.
The birds are wild and unpredictable. The incoming tide should lift them off the mud in search of new feeding grounds. Plus, there's a partridge shoot going on a bit further along the estuary. Mark is hoping that might stir things up a bit.
Pardon?
The one thing Mark has forgotten is his sens.
What did you say?
He left them back in Ireland, which is a shame because being able to hear
That
wing
really was
beats
a good
is
shot.
vital. Once you're here, and there's no going back for extra cartridges or a cappuccino. So here are a few tips from Mark about the essentials.
Got to be a bit sensible. So when you're walking out here, take your jacket off. So many people walk all the way out here with all the clothes on. You get really hot and sweaty. Then you cool down and you're wet, and you're cold for the whole day. Always have a set of warm clothes in the car, so if you do get cold and wet, when you get back to the car, you can put some warm, dry clothes on. What Crow does, which a lot of other people do, which I think is quite clever, is they just put, you know, the rubber gloves you put on your hands for galloping deer and gutting rabbits. They use those, and it just takes, you know, keeps your hands dry. You can take them off, but you know, decent woolly hat, decent jacket.
Knots. Are they knots? Yes, they're knots.
There is definitely plenty of downtime as the tide rises. When the birds come, it's exciting.
I thought we'd get more like that today, but they haven't really played the game. And in a funny way, they haven't, you know, I wouldn't mind so much if they were coming along looking like they were going to come in and then flaring off because they'd seen us or seen the camera or didn't like the decoys, but they're just sort of not even interested in this area, which is odd. I mean, it's normally, it's called the King's Seat because it's the best spot, or one of the best spots.
Both Mark and Owen do well when the birds are in range. So far we've got widgeon and teal, so what's the difference?
We have a widgeon and you have a teal. That's a female teal. That's a female widgeon. As you get later in the year, the colours become sort of much clearer. The male's got quite a nice red head with a white line on it. You can always tell the teal because their wings beat incredibly fast, and a teal's wings, when it flies, goes all the way up and all the way down. And the widgeon's sort of more of a streamlined chap. He doesn't quite go all the way up, and but he goes quite a long way down. You're much better off trying to differentiate birds, not by the feathers, but by the shape of the bird and what their wings are doing as a shape, and then you'll be able to tell them, go back, where is it, Mag? Apart, a lot further away and in the dark. So, go back, that's much better to go on than feathers.
With the tide at its highest, we give it another hour before wrapping things up.
Get over.
It has been an exceptional morning, and we feel privileged to have been given access to such an unusual and wonderful place. The bag is 40 widgeon, 30 teal and 1 gadwall, and there's no chance we're going to be able to cook them here. So what would Mark do with these duck to make the most of them?
I don't need hanging at all. I just leave them to go overnight just to cool down, rigor mortis set in, and go from there really. You don't want to serve them pink. You can either sort of pluck them and take the breasts off. I think it's worth plucking them because the skin's obviously got quite a lot of fat and quite a lot of flavour into it. And pan fry them. I mean, I'd give the tealbush don't want very long at all because, you know, they're very small.
It would be a shame not to do them justice given how hard we've worked for them. On the journey, it's an opportunity to talk through the morning's sport and get some rest. Wildfowling can be hardcore, but the rewards are worth it.